The story begins in a crowded New York park. People are scattered everywhere. On one bench, two young women sit together, talking casually. Then suddenly, one of the girls notices something strange. A sudden gust of wind rushes through the park. At first, it seems harmless, just wind moving through the trees. But seconds later, she realizes something terrifying. Every person around the park has suddenly stopped moving. Not slowed down. Stopped completely. They stand frozen in place. She turns to call her friend sitting beside her. She drives the sharp pin straight into her own neck. A construction site stands beside a tall building where several workers are busy on the rooftop. Without warning, one worker suddenly loses his balance and falls from the top. People nearby assume it was just a terrible accident. But then, one by one, every worker standing on the rooftop begins stepping forward. They jump off the building. No panic, no hesitation. They simply walk to the edge and throw themselves down. At this point, it becomes clear that something deeply disturbing is happening. The scene shifts to a high school classroom where Elliot, a science teacher, is calmly teaching his students. The lesson continues normally until a staff member suddenly calls him to the teacher's lounge. Inside the room, several teachers are gathered around a television. The news playing on the screen is shocking. Reports are coming in from across the city. People are suddenly killing themselves. Not out of sadness, not after emotional breakdowns. They are doing it instantly, uncontrollably. The school principal believes the situation might be a terrorist attack. Early speculation suggests that some type of chemical agent or airborne virus may have been released. Whatever it is, it seems to affect the human brain. Because of this terrifying possibility, the school immediately shuts down and sends all students home. Elliot leaves the building with his close friend, Julian. As they walk outside, Julian suggests something important. He tells Elliot that they should leave the city and travel to his village. It's far from the crowded urban areas and might be safer there. Elliot thinks about it briefly and realizes the idea makes sense. He rushes home to pack his things. When he arrives, he finds his wife sitting in front of the television, watching the news in fear. Every channel is broadcasting the same terrifying story. The government has no explanation. Seeing the rising number of deaths on the screen terrifies Elliot's wife. The couple quickly decides to leave the city and head for the train station. When they arrive, chaos has already taken over. Huge crowds of people are desperately trying to escape. Everyone is pushing and rushing, hoping to get out before things get worse. Julian is already waiting there with his young daughter. But there's a problem. His wife hasn't reached the station yet. She's trapped somewhere in the crowd and can't get through. The train is about to leave. With no other choice, Julian calls her and tells her to take the next train once she arrives. Reluctantly, he boards the train with Elliot, Elliot's wife, and his daughter. Meanwhile, the story briefly shifts to another city, Philadelphia. In a park there, everything seems normal at first. People walk through the grass, enjoying their day. Then suddenly, another strong gust of wind passes through the park. Just like before, everyone freezes. Nearby on the road, cars stop moving. Drivers slowly step out of their vehicles. A police officer exits his patrol car. Calmly, he pulls out his gun and shoots himself. Within seconds, other drivers begin stepping out of their cars. Some pick up the officer's gun and use it on themselves. Others slam their heads against walls or stab themselves with sharp objects. Back on the train, Julian is still trying to contact his wife. Eventually, she answers and tells him she's safe. But before they can talk further, something unexpected happens. The train suddenly stops. Passengers grow anxious as they are forced to leave the train. Elliot approaches the train operators to understand what's happening. They explain that all railway signals ahead have mysteriously stopped working. No train can continue forward. Even worse, communication with the control center has been lost. Stranded in the middle of nowhere, the passengers walk toward a nearby small-town hotel. Inside the hotel, tension rises as everyone tries to understand the situation. A woman approaches Elliot and shows him a disturbing video she recorded earlier at a zoo. A man calmly walks into a lion enclosure and allows the lions to attack him. Soon the television in the hotel broadcasts another emergency report. everyone gathers to watch. The news reveals something even more frightening. The town they are currently in has been identified as the center of the outbreak. They are standing directly in the danger zone. Panic spreads instantly. People begin running everywhere, desperate to escape. Everyone rushes toward their vehicles to flee. But Elliot and his wife don't have a car. They begin asking strangers for help, but no one wants to take extra passengers. Finally, a quiet couple offers to give them a ride. Just as Elliot and his wife are about to leave, Julian runs toward them. He has made a difficult decision. He tells Elliot that he must stay behind to search for his wife, but he doesn't want to risk taking his daughter into danger, so he asks Elliot to take care of her. Elliot agrees. Julian hugs his daughter tightly, says goodbye, and then joins another group traveling toward New Jersey. As they drive down a quiet road, they encounter something horrifying. Bodies hang from trees along the roadside. The sight terrifies everyone inside the car. Julian and the group try to protect themselves. He suggests sealing all windows and openings in their vehicle to prevent anything from entering. They follow his instructions carefully, but they overlook one small hole in the car's roof. Then another gust of wind arrives. Within moments, the driver loses control of the car. It speeds uncontrollably and crashes into a tree. The couple inside dies instantly. Julian survives the crash and steps outside the wreckage. But he is already infected. He picks up a piece of broken glass from the car and slices his wrists. He dies there, but back with Elliot's group, their journey becomes even more dangerous. Soon, they discover the road ahead is completely blocked by piles of dead bodies. There are so many that their car cannot pass. They are forced to turn around and search for another route. After driving for some time, they encounter a military jeep blocking the road. A soldier stops them and warns them not to continue. The military base ahead has been completely destroyed. Every soldier stationed there is dead. More vehicles soon arrive behind Elliot's car, and the soldier prevents anyone from moving forward. With no other choice, everyone decides to stay in the nearby town for the night. A large group of survivors forms, and the soldier naturally becomes their leader. While traveling through the area, the group splits into two smaller groups. Elliot moves ahead with one group, while the soldier stays behind with the others. Then suddenly, another gust of wind blows through the fields. The people in the back group freeze again. Realizing what is happening, the soldier raises his hand in a final salute and shoots himself. The nightmare repeats. One by one, the remaining survivors grab the same gun and kill themselves. Elliot begins analyzing everything they've witnessed. Slowly, he forms a disturbing theory. He believes the virus might actually be coming from plants. Many of the attacks occurred in places with large crowds surrounded by trees or vegetation. According to Elliot, plants may be releasing a toxin into the air as a defense mechanism against humans. The human population has grown too large and continues damaging nature. Perhaps nature is fighting back. So the safest option is to separate and keep distance from one another. Just after he explains this theory, another gust of wind moves across the fields. Elliot quickly tells everyone to run in the opposite direction of the wind. The wind passes, but none of them die. Elliot's theory appears to be correct. Now only a few survivors remain. Elliot, his wife, Julian's daughter, and two teenage boys. While walking, they discover an abandoned car containing a map that helps them understand their location. Nearby, they notice a large mansion and decide to explore it. Inside, they realize the house is completely self-sufficient. Everything grown there comes from plants and crops surrounding the property. Normally, that would be a good sign, but according to Elliot's theory, it may actually be extremely dangerous. They eat quickly and decide not to stay long. Soon after leaving the mansion, they witness another horrifying scene. Other survivors from their earlier group have reached the same mansion. At that moment, another gust of wind passes through the fields. The people lose control. One man starts a lawnmower and lies in front of it, allowing it to crush him. Others stab themselves or smash their heads. While traveling further, Elliot's group finds a working radio. The broadcast reveals that the phenomenon appears to be spreading less toward the west, so they decide to travel west in search of safety. Eventually, they reach a residential area where houses are locked. People inside refuse to open their doors because they fear strangers. After knocking on several homes, a man finally speaks through a door but refuses to help them. Frustrated, the two teenage boys begin banging on the windows. The homeowner becomes furious. He appears at the window with a gun and shoots one boy. Then he shoots the other. Terrified, Elliot grabs his wife and Julian's daughter and runs away. After traveling further, they reach an isolated house where an elderly woman lives alone. She invites them inside and offers them food and a place to rest. But Elliot soon notices strange behavior. The woman appears mentally unstable after years of isolation. During the night, he wakes up and sees her wandering outside their room. She is sleepwalking. The next morning, Elliot wakes to discover his wife and Julian's daughter missing. Panicking, he searches the house. While investigating the woman's room, she suddenly appears behind him and accuses him of trying to steal from her. At that moment, another powerful wind begins blowing outside. The woman walks toward the backyard. Elliot realizes she has been affected. He quickly seals the doors and windows and tells his wife to hide. Soon, the woman appears outside, bleeding from her nose while repeatedly smashing her head against the window until it breaks. With the window shattered, the wind begins entering the house. Elliot rushes into another room and finds his wife and Julian's daughter hiding safely. He tells them something terrifying. The phenomenon has evolved. At first, it attacked large groups. Now it seems to target individuals. Believing they may die, Elliot and his wife share emotional memories and apologize for past mistakes. Hand in hand, they walk outside together, ready to face death. Another gust of wind passes through. They close their eyes, but nothing happens. After several seconds, they realize they are still alive. The mysterious outbreak has suddenly stopped. 3 months later, life slowly returns to normal in cities like New York and Philadelphia. Elliot and his wife return home and adopt Julian's daughter as their own. During a television interview, a scientist explains that not everything in nature has a clear explanation. Sometimes the planet sends warnings to humanity, warnings about how humans are damaging the world. While watching the interview, Elliot's wife reveals something surprising. After many years, she is pregnant. But the story does not truly end. In the final scene, we return to the same park. Then suddenly, someone screams. A powerful gust of wind rushes through the park. People freeze in place. And once again, they begin killing themselves.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel Hypercut Cinema.